All right, let's get into our talk time discussion right now. We are joined in here because remember we were talking about defections this time around, and there has been lots and lots of defections since 1999 until now. Plenty defections from one political party to the other, and these are the things we'll be talking about in this next discussion. We have joining us right now Senator Femi Okuromo. He was a senator. He was in the Senate, because once a senator is always a senator. He was in the Nigerian Senate 1999 to 2003. And apart from that, he was the chairman press committee of the national conference we had in Nigeria. Senator, presidential committee. Sorry, okay. Senator, it's good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Now, let me take you to my wall first. We'll lay the foundations and then we come to this. Let's go to my wall and have an understanding of what these things are. Okay. Now, in February 2013, Nigeria's four biggest opposition political parties announced their readiness to merge and contest the 2015 elections as one mega party to break the PDP's 16-year rule, and they did just that. In November 2013, a political earthquake occurred and 5 state governors from the PDP defected to the APC. We're referring to, at that time, the ACN, we had the ANPP, we had the CPC, and we also had ABGA at that time. Now let's get into this. Now, Governor Chibuike Amechi of Rivers State at that time, Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso of Kano State is one of them, Governor Ali Wamako of Sokoto State, Governor Ahmed Abdul Fattah of Kwara State, and Governor Murtala Nyako of Adamawa State. They laid the foundation for what many Nigerians now call massive defection from one political party to another, when they walked out of the PDP National Convention in Abuja in 2013 and joined the APC. Many said that that action triggered the beginning of the end of the PDP as a ruling party in Nigeria. Certainly, we all know what role state governors play and what in the makeup of any political party. Now let's get on. Now things got worse for the PDP when the Speaker of the House of Representatives at the time, Aminu Tambuwal, now governor of Sokoto State, cross-carpeted from the party to join the then opposition party in October 2014. Now, if we have better understand, let's go ahead. Yeah. Now let's take you back to that event of 2013 where the breakup of the PDP led to the formation of the ruling APC. Now we saw that at that time, okay, let's play you this. Let's play you this before we get on.
The party had been grappling with the biggest crisis in its history. The crisis defied every attempt at a resolution, and with every passing day, rather than the cracks in the party being mended, they grew bigger and bigger. The leadership of the party tried to act tough, but its hardline stance backfired, and it continued to lose grip on the party. This loss of control led to a walkout on President Goodluck Jonathan and other PDP leaders during the party's national convention held in Abuja recently. The aggrieved party members proceeded from there to set up a parallel faction of the party with a full complement of national executive. The Governors Forum was also sucked into the crisis. They were unable to conduct a simple election, thereby opening a second phase in the political crisis. Of course, the PDP has the largest number of governors in the forum, yet not much was done by its leadership to resolve the crisis. The cracks in the PDP wall just got wider. Indeed, things have fallen apart in Africa's largest party, and the center, to say the least, cannot hold. This gathering was going to open another chapter in the nation's political history and probably inflict an irreversible damage on the PDP. It was clear that the presidency and indeed the PDP did not see this happening this early. If President Jonathan had known this would happen today, he would probably have hastened the meeting he planned to hold with the G7 governors.
6 hours flight is quite a distance. Of course, also following
from my health challenges, I think the meeting will be rescheduled, but we'll meet.
The chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Godswill Akpabio, also clearly did not see this coming. He had, using boastful words, advised the G7 governors to return to the mainstream PDP.
There are so many APC members who are approaching me on a daily basis that they want to move to PDP. And I kept telling them, it's not yet time. Let us resolve this issue of G7 governors, and then you'll see the big fishes that will come out of APC. They are ready to come out, and when they come out, it's going to be a bomb. It's something that the entire country will shout.
But the truth is, the APC leadership had a strategy in place and were determined to unleash their plan uncut. And with the well-laid-out strategy having succeeded, analysts already see the beginning of the end for the PDP. Indeed, the leadership of the All Progressives Congress has sent a signal to the Wadata Plaza National Secretariat of the PDP that it means business. Now, the country's political map is being redrawn. The All Progressives Congress, though still an opposition party, can indeed become unquestionably the biggest political party in the country sooner than later.
All right, we are discussing defections, and that's the foundation of what we're talking about right now. Senator, let me bring you in here before I go ahead on my wall. When you sit down and watch defections, you were there from 1999, at the beginning of this democracy we have right now. How concerned are you with the issues of defection from one political party to the other?
Of course, I'm very concerned, because it signals a lack of principle amongst our politicians. It's a sign that we have since lost the whole idea of politics, of issues. People being a political party because they have a belief in a certain vision, and because they share a common vision of society which they want to implement. That used to be the idea behind a party. You don't go into a party with strange bedfellows who don't share your vision. But with what we have been seeing in Nigeria for quite some time now, it appears people are just in political parties for opportunistic reasons, for what they can get for themselves, to maximize personal advantages.
Is it just the politicians or the party themselves that lack the ideology?
Of course, if the politicians within the party lack ideology, then the party lacks ideology. It's the politicians within the party, that determine the nature and the complexion of the party.
Because if the parties have ideologies, then it's incumbent on the party to screen those who wants to join the party.
Yes, we are saying the same thing. The parties lack ideology. Because of that, anybody is welcome. Anybody whom they think is going to be of electoral value, is going to help them to win election, is welcome. No matter his beliefs, no matter his convictions, no matter his antecedents, no matter where he is coming from. Anybody is welcome. The only consideration is of electoral value. And to be of electoral value means has he got a lot of money. So the parties lack ideology, and the people themselves lack ideology. They lack focus, they lack direction.
All right. Now, Senator, we know that growing up, after the independence and even to the Second Republic, in the 1979 to 1983, the political parties at that time, they all had their ideology cut out, well cut out. You know the difference between UPN and the programs, NPN. Yes. You knew what this party stands for, and when the parties get into government, they actually follow. Where did we get it wrong? Even under former General Babangida, when he came up with the NRC and SDP, those two political parties even had their own, even though a little to the left, a little to the right, but they had their own semblance of ideologies.
Those two political parties under Babangida had no ideology.
Okay, that's what I say, semblance.
They were contrived parties by the government.
Okay.
They were what we call government parastatals.
Okay.
So it was a question of you trying to guess, trying to have for guess which is going to win, which is likely to win, and so you go there.
Okay.
So
but where did
people didn't go into either party because of any ideology.
Okay. But where did we get it wrong after the Second Republic?
We started getting it wrong from this Fourth Republic.
Okay.
Because in the Second Republic, as you have rightly said, the UPN had a clear focus. The NPN was noted for having no focus. So that in itself is an ideology. and the PRP has its focus, under Aminu Kano. So the GNPP has its focus. So we know what each party could be identified with. So,
well, in 1999,
yeah,
you came in on the platform of, what platform did you come in on?
In 1999, of course, I came in under a very principled party, the Alliance for Democracy, which had fought a long battle with Abacha over the annulment of the June 12, 1993 election, and had insisted on Abiola's mandate being revalidated, and had refused to support Abacha's 5 leprous fingers, which he put out there in the 5 political
parties. Which all
parties
adopted him to be the presidential
which
candidate.
He wanted everybody to come under. We had refused to join any of them. We insisted these were not political parties. They were just opportunistic parties for supporters of Abacha. Abacha was in charge of each and every one of them. So whichever one you joined, you were Abacha's supporter.
So if the AD were to be alive, would you say the same thing for the value now as it was then in 1999?
No, the AD had values which bound it together. But of course, the AD has been having problems since 2003. In fact, it was the problems in the AD that led first to the AC, and then to the ACN, and then to this APC. So these were all a reflection of the cracks that started from within the AD and then widening. So
did you at any point shift from AD to another party? Did you join another party?
Well, no, I did not join another party, but at the time, you know, AD was formed by Afenifere, what we call Afenifere in Nigeria. And I never at any time joined any other party except the ones that Afenifere formed. When Afenifere lost control of the AD, because the AD was hijacked by our then former governors, then we formed another party in 2007, which we call the DPA, Democratic People's Alliance. Then again in 2011, another party was formed, which was called the Social Democratic Mega Party. So the Afenifere has formed a number of parties. But all along, I've never jumped ship outside of the Afenifere circle of parties.
Well, you had some political leaning towards you were part of the confab. There was something in that confab that aligned with your beliefs and values?
Of course, in fact, the confab is something that we Yorubas as a whole, and the progressive people in Nigeria as a whole, not just in Yoruba land, all the progressives in Nigeria had been advocating for this confab right from the 80s. The pressure mounted in the 90s after 1993 election, after the annulment of Abiola's election, to restructure Nigeria because of what had happened to Abiola's election. So in fact, the whole struggle of Nadeco was partly to fight for a restructured Nigeria, so that that kind of thing will not happen again, where one man will just decide that I don't like your face because I don't like where you come from, therefore you cannot be president of Nigeria, which was what happened to Abiola.
Okay.
So the idea was to restructure Nigeria so that everybody, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion,
have a sense of belonging.
will have a sense of belonging.
Okay. Senator, we'll come back to this. Let's go on a break and then we dwell more on what we're discussing now. Defections from one political party to the other is a common norm within the Nigerian political circle. Stay with us on TVC Breakfast.
Glad to have you back. It is still TVC Breakfast and it's talk time, and we're talking political defection. Why do you leave one political party to another political party? For lack of ideology or for food is ready, according to Governor Fayose? That's what we're discussing right now in the studio, and Senator Femi Okurumu is very much here with us, who was a senator 1999 to 2003. And according to Mike, once a senator, always a senator.
That's how it is.
Okay.
Well, let's get back to understanding this. Now, according to the Daily Trust newspaper, more than 70,000 members of the PDP have crossed from in the country, had defected to the APC since 2015. Now, the latest to jump ship is former Senate President Ken Namani, who joined the APC this month. Let's move ahead. Okay. Now, leading the pack of defectors to the APC after the party's 2015 victory is the former national legal advisor of the PDP and gubernatorial candidate of the 2012 governorship election in Ondo State, Olushola Oke. He dumped the APC for the AD in 2016 after failing to emerge the party's flag bearer in the November 2016 Ondo governorship election. Now it's from one party to another and then from another party to another again. Let's move on. Now, former Minister of Information and Governor of the old Anambra State, Chief Jim Obodo, defected to the All Progressives Congress. Former Abia State Governor Ojizo Kalu also defected from the, in fact, he had different APP and all of PDP, APP, and then APC. Now he's one of the latest defectors, and then the most recent is the defection of former Senate President Ken Nnamani from the PDP to the APC.
Ken Nnamani's case is generating quite a lot of controversy because you remember when the APC came in newly, he actually said that there was no need leaving the PDP for the APC because he didn't see anything good in the APC. So what has changed between then and now?
In
Senator,
politics.
yeah, Senator, what's the former Senate President really? Why would he now leave the PDP to for the APC? According to Governor Fayose, he said most of these people who are defecting are food is ready politicians. Is that the case for him as well?
No matter what you may think of Fayose, he sometimes says the right things. And I think clearly on this issue, he's on the right, he's striking the right chord. A lot of Nigerian politicians don't ever want to be out of power. They always want to be in the party that is in power. Because for them to be out of power would be like a fish out of water. They are used to being in power, sharing the largesse that comes from being in power, and always having access to our treasury to enrich themselves. And once they are out of power, they know that they can no longer do that. They begin to feel uncomfortable.
All right.
So many of them cannot stand being out of power. They want to be in power just because they are in power to enrich themselves, and they want to continue enriching themselves. But there are two reasons why there have been defections to the APC.
The ruling party.
Since 2015. For one thing, this anti-corruption fight. You see, the anti-corruption fight more or less makes the APC a safe haven for those who may think the EFCC may be after them and may want to come and take them. They feel that if they are in APC, they are safe. So a lot of people who have skeletons in their cupboard, who are afraid of who are having nightmares over the EFCC, think that the best thing for them is to go and join APC. So by being APC, at least they can be assured that they are not going to be. They're not going to run after.
Okay. Well, Senator, make us understand.
Yes.
Why is it so important for a political party to have an ideology? What is ideology? How central is ideology to political parties?
Because for that is the whole essence of having political parties and asking people to come and choose. See, if people are in politics to serve for the betterment of the society itself, they must have a vision. For instance, a political party must have a vision where it wants to take the society. What path you want to follow. In 10 years' time, where do you want the society to be? What kind of future do you want to build for Nigerians of today? All those must be encapsulated within the vision of any political party. Okay. That constitutes your beacon that you run after in all your programs to achieve that vision. Okay. So if you have a different vision from that we have, then you cannot be with us. You have to go to another political party with a different vision which you share. So that's why it is people who share the same vision and therefore have the same mission that can be in a political party together. They are the ones who can have a principled political party. That is why the Labour Party in Britain is so different from the Conservative Party, and you can predict the position of a Labour Party person from that of a Conservative Party person. In the United States, if you are a Republican, you can predict the kind of views he will hold. If you are a Democrat, you can predict the kind of views he will hold because they share these views. That is why they are in the same party.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to my wall in here. Yeah. So the APC has also lost some of its members to the PDP and other parties, though not political bigwigs. In Benue State, for instance, thousands of APC members defected to the PDP in the later part of 2016. Also in Rivers and Delta states. That also happened. Let's move on. Okay. Now, Nigeria's House of Representatives has 360 seats. Now, 217 of the seats are occupied by the ruling APC, while the main opposition, the PDP, has 140 seats. Other political parties also have here and there. Now, during the inauguration, I think the Labour Party is also there. Now, during the inauguration of the 8th Assembly, the APC had 213 seats. This means some lawmakers on the platform of other parties have defected to the APC, pushing up the number to 217. Let's move on. The Senate consists of 109 senators, 3 from each state and 1 from the Federal Capital Territory. The APC has 64 members, and then the PDP has 43 members, and the Labour Party also has 1 member, while 1 seat is vacant. During the inauguration of the 8th Assembly, the APC had 59 seats, while the APC had 49 seats. 5 senators have since then defected from the PDP to the APC. Now let's play this report for you, and then it gives us a better understanding of what we're talking about defections, and then we come back to ask more questions to the senator here.
Nigeria's main opposition party have been meeting for weeks now to chart a new path for the party. Several committees have been set up to initiate reforms aimed at repositioning the party.
Whatever the crisis, whatever the misunderstanding within the PDP today, it will be resolved peacefully.
The whole country is not only tired of the ruling party, they want another change. And possibly, if not for the Constitution, they want the change if possible tomorrow.
The party hasn't fared well since its poor outing in the 2015 general election. The situation even got worse with the lingering leadership crisis. Party faithful, uncertain about the future of the party, are now decamping to the ruling APC. But members here say there is no cause for alarm.
What is happening with the feelings of the single senators of the PDP in the Senate is sometimes they are here and there, and for one simple purpose, that they can't wait for us to put our house in order.
Most people run away for nothing. Running away will take you nowhere except to confront your challenger.
So any person leaving PDP now is making a great mistake. So I want to urge that under no circumstance, no temptation will make anybody to leave PDP presently.
Aside talks of repositioning the party, another major concern of leaders here is the country's economic woes and the poor living condition of many Nigerians. They say the People's Democratic Party provides the only platform for meaningful change for Nigerians in 2019. Doshima Abu, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, that gives you another dimension in there. But Senator, let's look at, we have more than 20 political parties in Nigeria right now. If we talk about ideologies, what kind of promise do they hold when it comes to what they say, what these party A says he wants to do for Nigerians, what party B says he wants to do for Nigerians, what party C and party D and party, as the case may be? What do you think are their differences?
Well, I've just told you that many Nigerian parties have no ideology to speak of. And
but does anyone have at all? If you say some of them or many of them.
Today, none. There are 2 major political parties today. APC, which is the ruling party, and the major opposition party, the PDP. Neither of them has an ideology. They are both 2 sides of the same coin. If you look at the APC today, half of them used to be in PDP. So what does changing party make a person different? Is it not the same human beings who left PDP and then now find themselves in APC? Has that made them suddenly change personalities? No. If they were corrupt when they were in PDP, they remain corrupt while they are in the APC, and so on. So changing parties does not change a man. But people
like
are just
a leopard doesn't change its spot, really. You remain a leopard forever.
Yes, that is correct. So just changing parties is just a way of trying to see how can we gather together to seize power. That is the only focus. That is the only goal. Okay. Power. Right. And they are only after power, not to use that power for the benefit of the people, as we have seen, not to use it to uplift Nigeria,
right. Senator,
not to use it to uplift the masses, yes, but to use it to gain material benefits for themselves and their families.
We'll talk more on that right after this break. So stay with us on TVC Breakfast.
But if you're just joining us, you're watching TVC Breakfast. We're discussing defections and impacts on democracy in Nigeria. We have Senator Femi Okoromo with us in the studio. He was a chairman of Presidential Committee on Confab. He was in the Nigerian Senate from 1999 to 2003. Now let's bring in Foladele to give us a perspective of reactions of Nigerians on social media on this topic. Fola, good morning.
Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
You know, Senator Femi made a very good point about people defecting to APC because they want to be protected and they want some sort of immunity. I thought that was very interesting and a big eye-opener. Let's see what other people are saying online. Humble Sheriff says, Nigerian politicians only defect when they're out of favor in the party they belonged before. Olorunfemi Ayeniola says, in #Nigeria, it's a tradition for party members to shamelessly defect to a winning party when their own party fails. Jude Ezechuk says, Namani is just one of the failed politicians of Eastern Nigeria. His defection is very pathetic. Aromeo Badje says, but funny enough, the spate of defection from PDP to APC suggests that PDP and APC should just merge. #Justin. Akingbala Rotimi says, at APC and at PDP, defection, what a state we call Nigeria, and what a demonstration of craziness we play in the name of politics.
Wow.
Merging.
Okay. Merging. That would be very interesting.
Because they're the same.
Exactly. Because when you can move from
they're all
there to
exploiters.
there.
They're exploiters. They're exploiters of the people.
Wow.
Exploiters of the people.
Wow.
So, Senator, you made a point earlier. You said that defecting is just an attempt for politicians to stay in power for as long, at all costs, still remain in power and hold on to power.
Yes.
So I've heard people talk about young people coming into power, them not stepping up to the plate and saying we want to go into politics. Yes. Do you think that's because they don't want to do it, or do you think that's just because the older ones just won't release power?
See, the young ones have been corrupted by the older ones. So we have a generation of young people who don't know any better. They have never experienced principled politics all their life. All they have experienced is this cash and carry politics, this food is ready politics. That is all they knew from their childhood. And when Babangida came and said he wanted the new breed, and they then introduced this as two parties, and Babangida was one of those, in fact, who corrupted the young ones, the new breed. So he wanted to use the new breed for his own presidential ambition. So he wanted to select new people that he could teleguide and make them governors across the nation so they could prepare the way for him to become president. So, in fact, the new breed have been corrupted. They are not better than the older ones.
Oh, wow. So there's no hope for anyone?
The only hope we have today is for us to begin to re-educate our young ones until we begin a massive re-education and reorientation program to let the young people know that this is not the way to live, this is not the way to exist, this is not the way to build a country. Unless we do that, there's no future for Nigeria.
How do you suggest we reorientate them? I mean, if young people, when we say young people, there's a huge range. So if, I don't know, if your 30-something-year-old qualifies as young, then they're already corrupt, going by what she said.
Well,
so.
my view is that we need a youth movement in this country today. We need a youth movement that will indoctrinate and educate and reorientate the youth, teach them values. Right now, the society has lost all its positive values. The only values we have are those of get money, get money, get money. Even if you can kill to get money, it's okay, but by today's values. So we need a youth movement that will reorientate our youth, indoctrinate them with positive values as what is right, what is wrong, what is good for society, how society can progress, their own role, what role they have to play, how the future depends upon them. All this the youth must get. The negative influences that corruption will have on their future, they must be educated to understand it.
Okay.
Right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Senator, if we, from 1999 until today,
yes,
we often call it nascent democracy, and we've been making progress every year and by every election, but have we really made progress in our political culture the way we do it in Nigeria?
From what I have said, it's clear we have not made any progress. We have been retrogressing. I always say that Nigeria is moving backwards. We've been moving backwards. We have not made any progress.
Yeah, but if we have not made progress, how about our elections? From what INEC has been putting in place, we see some election, we've seen that there has been some level of improvement, and elections seem to be part of what the reflection of the kind of political culture you have. There
has been no improvement in our electoral system.
Why do you say that?
The seeming improvement in the last one was just propaganda. The same way everybody was swayed by the APC propaganda of change. You know, when you build propaganda, everybody believes it and they begin to think it is true.
Okay, give us the real picture.
The real picture is that in the last election, they introduced card readers, which they said will make the elections more transparent, more fair, and so on. Look at the distribution of the card readers across the nation was so inequitable. A lot of the states in the southwest and southeast and south-south barely had 50–60% distribution. States in the north had almost 100% distribution. That was the beginning of the iniquity and the planned rigging. The last election was not free and fair.
Even at the tribunal, the tribunals at some point will admit issues on the card readers. Yes. At some point would disallow issues on the card readers.
Even the INEC itself, on the voting day, in some states, they allow people to ignore card readers and just allow people to vote. That is why in places like Kano, Sokoto, and so on, you have almost 99.99% of the electorate voting, with nobody being disqualified, because they just neglected card readers.
In Kano State, there was no vote yes, was voided.
No voided votes. No voided votes, and 99.99% of those registered to vote voted.
Yeah, but
whereas in our own states here, it was not so.
Yeah, but apart from that, apart from the general election of 2015, we had some successive governorship election here and there. Would you say all those were not also free and fair?
That's what the big election that we have had, the latest one is the 2015 elections. It has been one of the most rigged elections. But everybody, because the people got the result they wanted, they kept saying it was free and fair. Because the propaganda had been there that Buhari is the candidate of change, is going to bring change, and because right from the campaign, even our own people here in the south were campaigning for Buhari that will bring change. So because of that, they overlooked the fact that the south was being discriminated against in the issuance of card readers. They thought, well, since in any case it is favoring the north.
Yeah, but Senator, if we have to really put things in perspective.
Yes.
Whoever has a card reader,
yes,
you don't know whether the person is going to vote for party A or party B.
Yes.
So how does that translate into rigging when a political party's name is not written on a card reader?
No, because if we deny 50% of the eligible voters card readers, you have disenfranchised 50% of the people.
Yeah, but even let us assume that only 10 persons are going to vote. You don't know who they are going to vote for.
But if only 10% vote in your area and 90%, yes, 100% vote in another area, is that a fair election?
But the bulk of the entire result for the election came from the southwest and the northwest from records.
Okay, let's move on to some other issue now. Talking about the people. Maybe the people should be the center. Some politicians who defected from, some senators who defected, moved from their party to another party, are saying they moved because of the people. Like Senator Nelson Effiong, who is from Akwa Ibom, moved from PDP to APC, says no reasonable politicians who is worth his salt would remain and allow his people to be drifting about without a direction. And some bigwigs who moved from the southeast said, okay, it's about the Igbo coloration in the scheme of things. Is it really about the people at some point?
I'm sorry to say this. The Igbos have been very unlucky in their choice of political leadership. The Igbo political leadership is only after its own interest. If all Nigerian political leaders are after their interests, but more so for the Igbo political leadership. Because the Igbo political leadership is ready to change any day once it notices that this is the way the wind is blowing. Even though today may be campaigning vigorously, ready to die for a particular party, the moment that party loses, tomorrow is ready to change to another party.
So their loyalty is really fickle.
Very, very fickle. That is because the Igbo cannot, they are so much after money. Money.
Well, a lot of them, a lot of people from the East will certainly not agree with you on that.
Well,
but it's an opinion.
Yes, it's an opinion.
But let's see it constitutionally. Section 68 of the Constitution. Subsection 1, paragraph G, talks about the issue of if you are leaving one, especially in the Senate, if you're leaving one political, or National Assembly rather, if you're leaving one political party to the other, since you did not campaign and get to there on the platform of yourself or the political party, you're supposed to lose your seat. And we see there has been precedents. There was a Supreme Court judgment to that regard, but we still have people defecting and not losing their seats.
If you read that provision very well, there is a proviso to that provision.
Okay, yes.
Say provided there is no division or split within that party that you are living from.
Yeah.
But that was the provision that they used when the
Abegunde case in Ondo State.
Yeah, and then when the PDP was hijacking people from AD, when we were in the Senate, you know, all this defective started even from our own time, where they hijacked some AD members to the PDP and used that provision because there was a split in the AD. And they said because there was a split in the AD that we had two factions, therefore they could defer without losing their seats. Okay,
so can PDP members now latch on to this and say, okay, fine, the center can no longer hold, we are free to jump ship? Can they latch on to that?
Of course they can do it. They can do it.
Because currently there's even an excuse now where there are two factions at the national level of the People's Democratic Party.
They can do it.
All right, but in all of this, what's the future for, because we're rounding off now, what's the future for our political culture in Nigeria? Because our ideology, our politics is rested on the political parties. Political parties are rested on ideologies, and the ideology is rested on the people themselves. So what's the future?
We need to go back to the basics. When you have missed your way, if you are going on a journey and you discover you have missed your way, you have to go look at your map and see where did I miss my road, and then go trace your way back to where you missed your road and take the right path. We are not strangers to principled politics. We are not strangers to good politics. If we go to the First Republic, look at the Action Group. The Action Group was the most disciplined political party in Africa. They had a vision. They had a mission. They were disciplined. They were effective as a government. In 7 years of Action Group government in Western Nigeria, between 52 and 59, the West was transformed to first in Africa in everything. To the point where even the British Prime Minister considered Awolowo that it was good enough to be British Prime Minister.
Wow.
So we can go back to this principled politics. And because of that, see, there was a healthy rivalry. The East itself didn't want to be left behind. So Azikiwe himself geared up and began to move the East. The East was
the NCNC.
Yeah, the NCNC.
Okay.
So, and of course, you see, all this competition helped Nigeria to move forward. Okay. Between 1960 and 1966, when we had the first coup, Nigeria was making progress at the same rate as countries like Malaysia and other, the so-called Southeast Asian tigers that we are envying today. They were not ahead of us at that time. In fact, we were ahead of them.
All right.
Senator Femi Okoromo, thank you very much for coming for honoring our invitation and coming on the program this morning. We wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Right. This is where we come to the end of today's edition. Tomorrow, we'll be back again talking about other issues that concern Nigeria. I am Mike Okwoche. Have a great day.
And I am Busola Mitwash. We are not jumping ship. We are still here, very much around.
No, we can't jump ship. We are not even members of any party, so we can always be here.
Bye.